Hey, Steve.
And all of you beautiful people out there, and we're on 8, not 4, not 6, but 8 live streams right now, simultaneous through streaming.
Really?
You got to really appreciate the technology that a couple of brothers from the hood were able to put together today, Alvin. So I want to brag about that a little bit. That we got a little bit of technical savvy with the TMI Business Solution Networking Podcast show. So we're not just a couple of schlucks out there. We got the real deal going, and we're doing a multi-simul live cast. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch, and we're getting down. So welcome to the show. I'm Kimbrough, the sidekick for the one and only famous world legend
You ought to stop that. You ought to
in
stop
business
that.
networking.
We ain't go through that.
Not you. I knew you for 30 years. I was the best man in your wedding, man. I'm telling you, you are the king of networking. You was networking at the altar when the priest was trying to get you to put the ring on your wife.
You remember that?
We were like, Alvin, just do the ring, do the kiss, we get network.
Do you remember when you were there and I tell the joke that I'm about to put the ring on my wife's finger and the pastor's right in front of our face, and I'm supposed to whatever I'm supposed to say, and I said, I'm not ironing. And my wife looks at me, what? And the pastor like, what? I said, I'm not ironing. She said, what does that got to do? If I'm committed to you, because I know how you work me, I am not ironing.
I'm not doing it
today. I don't iron.
Iron is a deal killer. That's the deal killer.
My wife, because I'm into domestic work and stuff, cook, clean, all that. And my wife, leave it up to my wife, will have me doing everything. I'm not ironing. But anyway, today's our show, Steve. Today is our show. We got a lot to talk about. Before I get into what I did recently, big event. I know you called me, hey Alvin, man. I just landed this opportunity and what is this, Steve? Go for it.
Man, they done messed around and they asked me to be a speaker. Okay, so I went to the Podfest Expo in Orlando. They asked me to be on the comedy panel. Okay, so that went so well, bro, to where their next event, and I'm going to pull this up, is the Podfest Global. Now, what they did was they went for the Guinness World Record during the pandemic when the world was shut down and they couldn't do a live expos with real bodies. So they took everything online, like most conventions and most conferences did during the pandemic. Everybody tried to do these virtual expos, right? So these guys did a virtual expo of theirs, and they set the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most people attend an online expo. And so it was so successful, they did it 2 years in a row, they decided to keep the Podfest Global event in addition to the Orlando Podfest. And my comedy panel went so well, they asked me to be a speaker on the Podfest Global. There's going to be over 10,000 people attending from all over the world. They asked me to put together a 5-minute talk, which I want to show you a couple of seconds.
What they look like, what they sound like. Watch their sets with no sound, just video, and then listen to their set, no video, just the sound.
So I'm describing right there how to do stand-up comedy in 5 minutes. My talk is 5 things you need to know. And then from there, if anybody wants to then book the PNN Academy Stand-Up Comedy Workshop based on this 5-minute video, they can do that. So I'm ecstatic because I'm going to have access to over 10,000 people around the world that's going to see my talk. So that is what I got going. But you know what? That's a snowflake in comparison to what you do.
No. Before we switch over to our stuff,
thing, man. I got to get the skinny on that, man.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. But before that, I think folks don't understand. You know, you and I've been around for a while, and you not only performed on cruise ships, uh, perform with a lot of celebrities, but you teach comedy. See, there's a
Yeah,
big difference. You
yeah,
were teaching comedy way before a lot of the other professionals decided to teach
yeah. I
comedy.
was teaching
It was
back in Boston in the late '80s.
absolutely. So I've been with you for a while. Don't forget. Obviously, I started up in comedy as well. My skill is not as tough as yours, but I'm the sidekick to the sidekick. But stand-up comedy is a very serious thing, and I respect stand-up comics because they're extremely intelligent people. Stand-up comics aren't dumb people. You got to be extremely intelligent to do what you do, and you got to keep up with the times and everything else. So stand-up
Yeah,
comedy is good. Congratulations on that, Steve.
yeah.
I
Thank you.
can make sure I
Very
just
good.
get some free tickets wherever you're going.
I
How
got
about
you
that?
covered, bro. I got you covered.
So
So tell me, give me the skinny on this. I'm super excited about what you did because when you was doing this, you was dropping me some nuggets, and I was trying to get some play by play, but you were too busy networking and on the grind. So, walk me through like step by step. Tell me the narrative of what
yeah,
happened
yeah, yeah, Steve.
in the
You
U.S.
know,
African Business Expo. Like, what
Well,
went down?
well, you know what I like about this, what we're doing today, Steve, is because working with the U.S. African Business Expo, I met a lot of people. But this podcast is about expanding your network and bringing value to your network. So what we're going to be doing is not only sharing you uh, the information, but also some of the key people that actually played in our space, Steve. So, the first thing I was able to do was I was able to have the opportunity to meet the executive director and founder of the podcast. Well, first, before that, uh, well, meeting the executive director, which I will get to, but I actually was able to be a speaker um, on several opportunities, podcasts, as well as Steve at the conference itself. So we're going to show you a little bit of some of the people we shared the space with. But then I had the opportunity to meet Obinge. Obinge is the founder and executive director of the U.S. African Business Expo. This brother is brilliant. You got to look him up. For those who are looking at this, please look him up on LinkedIn. Read his bio. This man is expanding and developing great relationship with the continent of Africa and bringing the people to the table that have relationship. And believe it or not, Steve, I've already started speaking with representatives and companies in various countries that have relationships with companies that are in the various countries that want to do business. And so we're already looking at funding opportunities and how we can bring services or products to the various countries within the continent of Africa. But let me tell you how that all came about. Okay, then that came about, and that's about the website we did. But Steve, I'm going to bring in the young lady who actually gave me the opportunity of working with this conference. Her name is Karen Booker. Now, Miss Booker and I've known each other for over 20 years. I think I told you, Steve, over 20 years. And Miss Booker really said to me, "Hey, Alvin, how would you like to work with the expo?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a great opportunity."
You
Well,
have a
with
slide on her you can bring in.
I beg pardon?
You have a slide on her you can bring
Yeah,
in.
I'm actually looking for it. I hope I didn't close it out, Steve, because if I did, I'm going to feel very upset. Okay. And I can bring her up a little later. I think I accidentally closed out her slide, but I will bring her up as we move along, Steve. But Mrs. Booker called me and said, "Alvin, I would like for you to work with the expo. And I'm like, really? And she gave me that opportunity. And she is the one that actually introduced me to Binger. Can you believe that? She
Wow.
introduced me to Binger. Yes.
That's some
And
powerful networking right there. That's some powerful networking.
dude, I am so grateful to her because she's just like, oh, Alvin, I need you to work with me. And when I did that, when I spoke to Binger, and I want all in, Steve. I made my presentation, told him who I was, and I said, listen, I would like to have the opportunity of working with the conference. Well, he said, okay, Alvin, if you think you can pull it off. And we did. We did. So this is the lady here, Karen L. Booker. So those that are watching this, please look up Karen L. Booker. Miss Booker is well known in the industry dealing with the various countries in the continent of Africa. She knows the movers, she knows the shakers, and she's a driving force with Binger and all of his other associates. So don't sleep on Karen Booker, a dynamic woman. And I'll tell you another secret on Mrs. Booker. Mrs. Booker writes major, major grant proposals. Okay, don't call her if y'all ain't got no money, y'all. Please don't don't reach out to her and ask her to provide a service to write a grant and you have no money. That doesn't work too much. But if you want to know key people, this is it. So I had the opportunity of working with Binger, sitting on the various panels. So then before I got there, Binger invited me to sit on a podcast. Now, this is crazy. I got the opportunity to sit on the podcast with Phil Andrew, who's the president of the Long Island African American Chamber, who I work with. Also, I got to sit on a panel with a young man. Oh, I call all of us young. You know that. His name is Vincent, and as you can see there, you have the people that were sitting on this panel. But when I got on the panel with Vincent, this guy is powerful. He is, let me get everything right, because if I mess up, you're going to beat me up, Steve.
Yeah,
Vincent is, let me read it here. Let me make sure I get it right, because I don't want everyone to say the brothers getting this mixed up. He's the regional director of New Jersey SBDC at Rampal College. What is that? This is a free service that that SBDC provides all across the country, but he's out of New Jersey. But they understand import and export down to the T.
Can you scroll down his profile a little bit while you're talking?
Yes, I can. Thank you for asking for that, Steve. No problem. Thank you. This gives you an idea on this gentleman's profile and how powerful he is. We got to spend 2 days together besides the podcast. Okay? But Steve, they can all, if you're in LinkedIn, all you have to do, I'll leave it there, you can do this search and you can bring up his name and it's going to give you this page. Very open young man, looking to help a lot of companies that are looking to do export and importing business. And I'm talking about they get it down to the science. Okay? All right. So I got to sit on the panel with him in the webinar, right, Steve?
That's awesome.
Now, here's the funny thing. Again, for everyone listening, how I work. When I was on the panel, I was listening to Vince. Vince just kept on dropping all the information, but Vince loves to talk and I love to talk. So I listened to Vince and I'm like, this brother knows what's happening. Vince and I started interacting on the panel, going back and forth. And I know a lot of viewers, because it's on LinkedIn, a lot of viewers said, look at these guys, they're going back and forth. We were complimenting each other's services and how we work together. We hadn't even gotten to the conference yet.
That's awesome.
When we met at the conference, like,
while you're talking, I want to interrupt you real quick because I forgot to drop your number into the ticker tape because I want people to be able to call you while we're listening right now. Give me your number real quick and then go back into your story.
Oh, yes, Steve. The office number, Steve?
Yes.
212-812-6183, extension 101. How about that, Steve?
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Okay,
so
continue on your story.
Thanks, Steve. I really appreciate it. So when we got to the convention, Vince and I knew each other. And we got to spend 2 days at the convention. But even in the convention, we were still going at it, feeding off each other, which attracted more people at the convention to not only network with us, but network more with each other because we were feeding information and people were getting feedback from that information, which made them interact with each other. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, you are. That's quite
fascinating. So now let's talk about the panel, Steve. So now the brother got to wear his suit, which I really need to lose weight, Steve, I tell you. But anyway, I won't say anything about that. The panel, I got the opportunity to sit on the panel with some great people, but I also got to sit on the panel with a broker who represent Exim. Are you familiar with Exim? EXIM?
Very, very familiar, but bring me up to speed.
Sure. Exim it's like the global SBA. Exim provides security in a sense for if you have a 100,000, 200,000, 5 million deal that you're doing in more so exporting than importing. I think it's importing is one of the other. I keep on getting it confused. But anyway, if you have a bank or a lender that's going to lend you the money to do your transaction, they will make sure that the bank is in their system. Then they'll look at the buyer who you're buying the product from. All right, then, which will allow you to now get that product. And if the buyer does not pay the bill or whatever else have you, Exim will guarantee the bank the money. You follow me? Wow. So I call Exim your big uncle. Okay? Exim is your big uncle who said, look, if you got a bank, if you have a lender, and if that lender's in our system, and we vet the supplier, what will happen is if everything goes south, I'm just using basic terminology, Exim comes in and secures that. The big uncle. Okay.
That's very cool.
Now, there's a lot that I'm learning about it. Trust me, I'm learning a lot about it, but that's a gorilla. Exim is a gorilla. They're global. Okay.
That's cool.
So now let's take a break for a second because now that I'm going to go and show, I want to share some of the people that I met or actually at the conference. How am I doing, Steve?
You're doing good, but we got less than 45 seconds.
We already ran through the 20 minutes, Steve?
We ran through the 20 minutes, man. I mean, when you have fun, it goes quick, bro.
See, okay, Steve, let me share. Wow, Steve. Boy, no commercials neither, huh, Steve?
No commercials, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here's a couple of I gotta get the shipping company. Here is a shipping company, Kimbrough Shipping, right here in the United States, here in New York City. Steve, they are an international shipping company. Okay, then they ship from the United States to all of the different countries in the continent of Africa. They can move a boat, a car, tractor. Yeah, these guys are fairly large. We're going to be working with them. I asked, and here, let me here's the website, guys. I think you can see it. Can you actually see the website, Steve? Or you can actually go to Google and type in Kimbrough shipping, and it should come up. Here's the number here: 646-479-2728 or 479-9541. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Okay.
That is very cool.
So Steve, I think we did pretty good on what we were talking about. Let me unshare this now. So, and basically, I mean, there's a lot more information. People can email me, ask me who was there. I'll be more than glad to connect you with Mrs. Booker. I'll be more than glad to connect you with the Bingay or Vince, because in order for our network to get value, I have to share the network, and we're supposed to feed each other. You know how that goes, right, Steve?
Yes.
I know we're a little over, but I had so much fun, Steve.
That's awesome, man. Well, you know what? What we do on our next show, we'll kind of do a follow-up of this because this sounds very interesting, very intriguing, and I'm sure there's more information you want to share about the shipping company. But
Do you
we
think,
only
do you think we maybe should get a couple of them to come on? What do you think, Steve?
I think we should. Yeah, absolutely. That would
Okay.
be awesome.
I will work on that, Steve. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it's always a pleasure chopping it up with you, my brother. Yeah, I always am sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting to hear what adventures you've been partaking in, and can share with us here on the TMI Business Solutions Networking Show. As your sidekick, being kicked in the side, I'm gonna kick you in the side and be like, "Where can we find you?" One more time, give us a phone number and an email. We got the ticker tape going at the bottom, but give us your phone number and your email where we can get in touch with you.
Okay. Again, I want to make sure that number's right. Was it 212-812-6183? You got 63. It's 6183.
You see, that's why it's always good to repeat that.
I tell you, brother,
At
that's a
the
beautiful thing.
'cause
Okay.
you
So
never
that's
know if you'll get it right or not. I'm gonna go in
no
there
problem,
and
brother.
because
No
we'll use
problem.
the shows.
I
And
love it. I love you technical people. So that's 212. Okay. What was it? 812-6183 extension 101. What do you think, Steve? That's good?
I like it. I changed that 6 to an 8, and
Yes,
then
sir.
pop it back in. You see that correction?
I'll watch this. I'll tell you, brother needs a raise. info@tmium.com. You guys can email me anything that you need. Let's get it out there. Again, for the folks looking at this is how you build your network. You can share information. Um, Sometimes you're not getting anything directly, but people then rely on you, which if you're bringing them opportunities, they should be bringing you opportunities. And that's why,
You will learn
again,
a lot
Steve Kimball
with
and
how
I,
they
that's
put
what
what
we
you.
do. Is that your outtake, Steve?
Yeah, I was going to close us out with my talk, and I want you guys to go ahead and, if you can, come check me out on my talk at the Podfest Global dot online was the official website. And if you use my promo code, you can see at the bottom, Kimbrough49, that will get you in and access to a lot of the presentations and talks for free. So use my promo code to get access to the website.
You're gonna have to blow that up a little bit more because the K is missing there, bro.
Yeah, it's missing, but everybody knows my name, Kimbrough49. It's
Well, I look like I am like Mission Impossible.
I am bro. I am bro.
I am bro. I am bro. 49.
I am
Here you
bro
go.
49. So yeah, come and check out my talk. I think you'll have a good time. And Alvin, it's always a pleasure, brother, hanging with you. And I can't wait till we can do this again next week.
I'm working for you, Steve. I'm working for you.
Awesome.
I'm out.
All right. That's peace out, everybody. See you next week.